Hello, my name is JuE Wong and I'm the president of the Elizabeth Arden brand. If you look at Elizabeth Arden is a brand with a lot of heritage. And if you again look at the landscape, it is also one of the brands that has truly gotten a head start with both services, high-touch services, as well as products. And when I came onto the scene with Elizabeth Arden, I had already had a lot of experience with products that had really, and brands that drive results, versus the brands that were just about making you feel good. So with that sort of a foundation, it gave me a lot of appreciation of the Elizabeth Arden platform, plus the fact that I was also exposed to a lot of physician, dermatologists, and spa services channel of business. I think the combination of the two, plus my experience with a turnaround opportunity for a lot of private equity emerging brands, has really given me a sort of a leg up coming into this position. Throw out the whole concept of work-life balance. Think of it as more like work-life integration. They will be very difficult for us to kind of say, we'll do 30% work, 40% home, and another 30% to take care of ourselves. It is much better to appreciate the fact that you have a lot of commitments, a lot of pressures that you have to achieve, and make sure that you integrate it into your life in such a way that you are 100% at what you do rather than 50% at where you are. So when you're with your kids or with your family, give 100% of yourself. And when you are at work, do the same and know where your priorities are. And I think by doing that, initially it's difficult because that's alien to a lot of people's nature if they are very driven and they want to be successful. But I think ultimately, you'll find that if you're able to compartmentalize, you'll find that you are much happier with yourself, the people around you are much happier with you, and you get a more fulfilled life and more enriching life. I make sure that when I have downtime with myself, I have a dog, and I make sure, like a dog is always a 2-year-old. So you never can sort of say, let a 2-year-old fend for himself or herself. So I make sure that he's being taken care of, I take him for walks, and I feel like when I'm with him, I'm 100% dedicated to his well-being. I mean, he's also getting on in years. He's a bigger dog and he's about 17 years old now. And every day that I'm with him, I feel like it's a day that I have earned because at some point I know that he won't be around. And so when I have that kind of a perspective, I treat the time that I have with him differently. And in the case of my children who are grown and they're away, when I go visit them in San Francisco, I make sure that I disengage from, whether it's my devices, whether it's my cell phones, and I'm able to listen to them and talk to them like adults rather than, treating them like children. If you can give yourself a facial with a mask at least twice a week, I think it's of tremendous help. So I'll give you an example. I flew for almost 16, 17 hours on the plane, and the first thing I wanted to do when I get to the hotel room was like really hydrate my skin. But you also know that there's no amount of water that you can drink when you get into the hotel room to really hydrate your skin. So masking is an important thing. And the good thing about putting on a mask is that you can multitask, right? You have the mask on and you can walk around, unpack, fold up your clothes, do the ironing, and before you know it, 15 minutes is up and you feel a lot more refreshed. I find that, when you're traveling, I have two things with me. A very hydrating lip balm and a very good serum mist. Because what you want to do is every hour on the hour sort of kind of spray yourself with a mist to keep your skin hydrated. And then, with your lips, keep it very hydrated as well because otherwise it starts cracking. And then if you can if it's a long flight, if you can get yourself situated to sleep at least 4 to 5 hours, that would be really helpful. And generally what I would do is that I'll spray my skin down, take a little bit of my lip balm, that is my 8-hour lip balm, and just slide under my eye and then just take a rest. And you find that when you wake up, it's really hydrated. And what I've realized that as I've gone through my working career and when I look at moisturizers, I really look for the ability of the product to nourish the skin from the inside out by penetrating deeper into your epidermis. And that's why I'm really impressed with the Provage line at Elizabeth Arden. When I first joined the company, I was really seeking for that most hydrating moisturizer. And I found that within the Provage line, especially with the Provage Night Cream, it really does all of the things that I thought was impossible because it was nourishing and hydrating the skin from inside out. Thank you very much for having me. It is very exciting to be back in Singapore as a Singaporean, and hopefully we'll meet again very shortly.